Hey everybody, this is Scotty with Sketchy's Garage, and today we're working on the budget beater. I'm going to show you a quick, cheap, easy way to limit the front end suspension travel. Let's just get right into it. What I got here is just a piece of all thread. This is a piece of 1/2 inch. It's probably about the smallest size that you want to use. You probably actually want to use like 5/8, but I don't have any, so 1/2 inch it is. What I've done here is I've measured out 6 inches from here to here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this off here and do the same for this side over here. Cut it off, and then what I'll do is I'll take and weld this nut to this piece of all thread, essentially just making a bolt that's threaded from beginning to end. I'm going to do that real quick and then we'll move on to the next process. Be nice if someone picked up around here. Alright guys, the next step is we'll just take these right here, and the ends that I cut on, that's the ends that I weld. That way I already know that these ends starting thread pretty easy, so that way I don't have to do that. I like to run it out just a fuzz like that. That way I can pull up my weld puddle a little bit. Alright, I'm going to get the welder fired up and I'll be right back with you guys. Alright guys, this weld right here, you want to make sure you get a good weld. It's going to have a little bit of pressure on it if you ever draw your suspension down super tight, basically where you use this to lower the car or load the suspension. So you want to make sure you get this welded up pretty good. Alright, we're going to let them cool off for a couple minutes and then we'll take them over to the car. Alright guys, we're over here at Pops's. We got our limiters made. And what we're going to do is we're going to weld this nut right here. Right there, we're going to burn us a hole, weld that nut to it, and then we'll run this in. And what it does is it'll limit how much this A-arm can come down, effectively being able to limit the travel of the front suspension. I'm going to go ahead and burn the hole right here, and then I'll get back with you guys. Alright guys, we blew a hole right there. One thing I forgot to mention is up underneath the A-arm, up in between there, I don't know, I can't get a picture of it, but anyways, right in there is a rubber bushing. I usually just take a screwdriver and a hammer and cut it off and then get it out from under there. One other thing I forgot to mention is make sure you put the suspension on a block and get the A-arm lifted up off the frame. That way you don't accidentally cut down into your frame and everything when you're cutting a hole for the A-arm. I'm just going to go ahead, take and weld this nut to the A-arm, and then that'll limit how far this A-arm can drop down, which therefore will keep the front end from moving up and down so much. I'm going to go ahead and get the welder ready and weld that up. Alright guys, I got that welded on. I'm going to go ahead and just let that cool off. Go ahead and do the other side, and I'll show you basically what it does. Okay guys, we're going to let this cool off, and then we'll probably take and tap that bolt out just in case it distorted any whenever we welded it, and then I'll stick it back together and I'll kind of show you what it does. One more thing I want to go over with you guys is after you put these in, or before you put these in, make sure you take and lubricate them real well with like some motor oil or something, and make sure you can spin them in and out by hand real easy. It'll just make adjustments that much easier. You won't have to fight with it, and don't forget to tighten your jam nut. That'll keep this, if you just use this rod without a jam nut, it'll eventually spin its way back out. So just put your nut on there and put some medium torque on it, and we keep it from backing out on you. Okay guys, we're going to check the front end movement, how much upstroke we basically got. Right now it's just sitting at ride height, and we're going to take a measurement just from the floor to the fender well lip. We got 29¼ inches. So what we'll do is we'll go over here and we'll jack the front end up until the front tire's just about to start come off the ground, and then we'll take another measurement. And we're at 30¾ of an inch. So we know we got 1.5 inch up movement. Right now this car, to be honest with you, it's sitting way too high up in the air in the front. I need to either change the springs or cut a coil. I'm really limited on my up travel, but I'll go ahead and show you what these things do right here. Go ahead and let the car back down. Go ahead and run your limiters down some. I went ahead and just ran them pretty much all the way down, just so you guys can see what's going on. You can even take and push the car down, like have some buddies push down on the front end of the car and run these down, so it's already got pressure on it. Alright, we'll go ahead and take a measurement now. We'll jack it up until it just starts the So now we're at like 30 inches. So we got about 3/4 of an inch up travel. And the theory on this is, say you're going out there and you're pulling real big wheel stands. You want to slow the front suspension down, and the best way to do that is to limit the travel that it's got.